Hello, everybody, and welcome to VIE Speaks, Conversations with Heart and Soul. I'm your host, Lisa Burwell, and I'm very excited today to bring you our guest from Modern Interiors Isidro Dunbar in Miramar Beach, a beautiful showroom, Modern Interiors, just amazing work, and a partner of VIE magazine for several years, and we've covered you, and you've come to Dallas with us on our meet and greet trips and all that. So, Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Look forward to
I know that our conversation is going to be fun-filled. We have lots of history. You have lots of history too. So, you know, you have such a varied background, and I always love getting to know people better because, you know, people are fascinating, and we all have different backgrounds and whatnot, but one of our conversations that we had in Dallas was that you basically got your start in the fashion industry. And I think that how I knew that was I had actually tied a bow on my outfit when we were getting ready for our party incorrectly. And you said, "Excuse me, I just have to tie your bow." So I'm like, of course, I'm going to let you do, your thing and whatever you want. But I'm like, wow, that was like the best bow I've ever had. And I will come to you again. And that's how the conversation started. And you're like, well, hey, I was in the fashion industry. And I'm like, tell me more. So let's start basically from that, because you just had an article in VIE magazine that I love how it turned out. And I think you're welcome. I think it's such a great representation of all that you stand for, and, just the magnificent art that is your interior design company. And you've had that for 28 years now, and you've been here for 14 in Florida, in Miramar Beach too. So you have a storied, and past with this, and also in fashion. And in this article that we recently published, you basically said fashion is first and everything else follows. So let's just talk about that from the get-go, how you got started in fashion and that quote that you had said in the article. Okay.
Let's go back to, I graduated from college. And after college, I couldn't find a job in my career or my path. And so there was an opening for a position at Hartsfeld's on the Plaza, which was a 9-store chain of women's specialty stores. And while I was an assistant department manager in women's sportswear, the store manager took me under his wing, and he took me he would come and get me and take me to couture. He wanted a man to sell and work in couture clothing. He taught me the reason why a dress is $400 or a dress is $4,000. It's basically because it's silk lined, or it's poly lined, or it's this, or it's boning and everything else. A couture gown is not that different than a home when you really look at it, because the construction of the garment, a couture garment, is just as beautiful from the inside as it is from the outside. And that's how I approach design in my home construction today when I work with a client from the ground up. And because I know what it takes to make things work.
Right.
And I, as far as the bow is concerned, that's later on in New York. But I was very lucky to have this gentleman who really, really, really taught me. I mean, I would go up and get tested. I'd go up and get questioned. I'd have to learn how to present a dress, how to show you, how to make you want to buy the dress.
Right.
Bottom line was just, of course, it was sales oriented, but at the same time, I also want to make you look as good as you possibly can.
Right.
That's my job.
That's my job. Fascinating.
It was fun.
And you were there for quite some time before you moved back to Topeka, Kansas?
Well, I was actually in Kansas City, and then I moved around in Kansas City a couple of times, my jobs. And each time it was a very good thing. But I was finally at Saks Fifth Avenue in Kansas City. And we had a trunk show for Hanamori. And Madame Mori came to visit Kansas City and do a personal appearance. She liked me from the get-go. Then a year later, the rep came alone, and he decided that I needed to have this position in New York that had just opened up. And so he talked to Madame Mori, and they flew me in. And the next thing I know, I'm moving to New York. And if I was going to make fashion and retail my career, I needed to go serve time in New York, as I jokingly say.
Yes.
So I said 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years turned into 11 years of fashion and on 7th Avenue, which was pretty amazing.
That's amazing.
Really, it was 15 years of my life that was in fashion. So.
And then was that in the 80s? So it was a very like dynasty-esque, lots of...
There was 80s, and I did clothes for ladies who lunched. I did dresses for ladies. We did little silk dresses for ladies who lunched and little suits and that sort of thing at Hanamori. And I've changed various different designers through the years. I stayed with Hanamori for 3.5 years. And then left there and went to another firm, and then went to another firm. I even got fired. Never been fired in my life, and freaked out. And then I found a job via my buyers to go to work for a really good firm. Right. And I was there for 6 years, basically.
Yeah, fascinating. So you were able to sort of segue like your eye, your attention to detail, like, from like the bones, basically, of fashion, which is the leader in, automobiles, and talk about that, like what you see when coming off the runway.
As far as the fashion on the runway to what goes into your home. It's really pretty kind of simple in a lot of ways. You watch a runway show, and that's going to happen now. And a year from now is what you're going to see in the furniture showrooms. In the furniture showrooms in High Point or Milan or wherever. You're going to see those colors, those feelings, and those things, the emotion, the prints, the stripes. You're wearing a stripe today. I mean, it's very popular right now. And the color, you're in navy and white. Navy and white is great. There's also black and white's very strong. Currently today, right now, it's navy and white, black and white, and it is black and cream. It is, which is a timeless. If you really think about it, it's timeless. Look at our office. You're basically in with a touch of warm wood. I mean, there we go.
Right.
So,
but I've had this for 17 years.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's all good.
Yeah. So one thing, we'll segue to this right now, seeing as you brought up my office here, but we have this is the Idea Boutique office side, the marketing side, but the V office, you were a huge partner in that with my husband, Jerry Burwell, who Burwell Associates, who designed it. And then you teamed up with Jerry to do the interiors. Right. And we're going to show the interiors in this podcast and everything because we're so proud of it.
Yes, I am too.
Yes. And that was just such a great collaboration. And I would say, Jerry and I, for the older that we get, we just sort of either realize this, so we relate to the party that we're both like creative control freaks, and like we just like decided to admit it, I guess, one day in the last year. And, we like things a certain way, but to your credit or to our credit, however you want to look at it, we pretty much gave you creative freedom.
Oh, you did. You did. You very much did. I mean, I got some ideas. I listened. I listened to both of you talk. And then I went back to my little world and I kind of put things together. And I talked Jerry out of one certain chair that he wanted because I was kind of tired of using it. There's something new out there all the time.
Right.
And that would be the chairs in the entryway. And then as far as the desks are concerned, they're cool. Yeah. They're functional. They do everything they need to do. They hide the cords. They don't, everything goes away. Yeah. So that's awesome. We made a space look amazingly large.
You did.
I mean, I don't know. Well, Jerry did. That's Jerry. I just helped
I agree.
Make the furniture look
to both of you.
It.
Yeah, it looks like it's 3 times the size, actually, in photographs. And even I think when you're there physically in there too, it has so much space. I sometimes say Jerry's just like the master of space making, like whatever space that he has, like work, even if it's not ideal. And you as well. But because I had that one-on-one firsthand experience with you and we, have developed a relationship over time doing that and then becoming friends, it's just amazing when I did watch your process because you don't have to tell me what your process was. I watched it and you listened and you were quiet. And I don't even think you wrote anything down, but I knew you were intently listening. And then you went back to your drawing board, to your creative board. I think it was a very short period of time later that you had presented that. And I marveled at how I watched and saw you listen, and I marveled at how you nailed it basically in a short period of time.
Thank you.
I really do
appreciate that. That is a lot of the times. That's a lot of the cases with any client that I do. My thing is I can design. I can do anything beautiful. Or at least I feel it's beautiful.
Right.
I can do anything like that. It's not that. It's that this is for you. This is a functioning office for you. And that's the way I approach a home.
Yeah.
That's the way I approach any commercial spot that I might do. It's yours. I walk away. You have to live there.
Right.
And I want to make sure it functions for you too. And hopefully, and I think it does very much so. The VIE office does.
Oh yeah. It has a great feeling, great energy.
People love it.
They do love it.
They walk in, and really what I'm trying to showcase, keeping the furniture understated in a way,
right,
is the magazine.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what is the most important thing is your product inside of that.
Yes.
And your home, when I do it with you, with your home, I listen. You do listen. I listen.
Right.
And that's the one thing that I think
it's a differentiator. It does.
Separates me and my staff from other firms. I mean, I just think that we don't just always go on our own.
Right.
We want to hear what you're going to do.
Right.
I just did I'm doing a home in Watersound Origins. It's going to be the coolest home there.
Congrats.
I'm going to be very proud of it. And I was brought in really a little too late to the game, but not too late to take care of things. I mean, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And we
came to the rescue.
A blast.
Mm-hmm.
And they are loving it.
Great.
We just delivered the living room and some of the living room and some of the dining room last week.
So what's the look? Like, is there a certain color palette? What is
the color palette is in grays, but I don't know if you've ever had a gray sofa it's a modular sectional. So it's from American Leather, but it's one color of leather, another color of leather, and another color of leather. Then what I did was took the cushions off of this piece and put it on this piece and changed this one to do that.
Cool.
It's all of that. And then we have two ottomans that are going in a contrasting fabric. And we've done those in a commercial grade fabric too, because I think about those things. I think about life. They have a small boy that's 2 years old. So he's going to be all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to do something fun, but they're still young and they want to be creative and they want to have things. We got the basics there. Now we're doing the finishings and then some artwork and obviously a lot of art.
Right.
It was funny when his wife, they went out to dinner and I was glad because that left me there to play and work and just look.
Right.
And I had one piece of art that I'd taken art to the frame shop, did the framing. The client basically met me there with some of it. He said, well, it would have taken me 3 hours. Took you 35 minutes to frame 4 pieces of art.
Mm-hmm. That's your thing.
Because I go in and I walk in and I know what I really kind of want to do, even though I hadn't seen it. I kind of had an idea and it was done.
Right.
And
well, cool segue that I want to talk about is the fact that you are an avid art lover and appreciator, and you're also have had your artisan resident,
right.
Nathan Yoakum, 14 years ago?
14 years ago,
you found?
We met Nathan.
Okay.
Nathan came into the store and in the area, and I first was not necessarily but I've always carried artists in my store. I mean, even back in Kansas, I carried artists in my store. We had a gentleman named Terry Maxwell, who was absolutely incredible, very fine pen, ink art, who also had a great story because he was handicapped on top of it all. So he really painted with his teeth.
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
He was awesome. And
did that art sell well for you?
Sold incredibly well. Wow. We did the body casts that we've seen now. I did body casts
way before
20 plus years ago. I mean, I can't even remember, but I had an entire wall full of boobs and bodies and God knows, everything else.
Okay.
And it was awesome because they were in brightly colors. It was 80s. So you got to remember a little bit of extravagance.
No,
but,
totally.
It was fun.
Extra, lots of extra.
That was someone else that I carried in the store, and we sold quite a few of those. But if you really go back to when I was in fashion, one of the stores I worked in had an old body plate from the lingerie department. Let's just put it that way. And my bathroom was black and white, and I painted it hot pink. And then I painted her black and hung pearls on her.
Yeah, got it.
I mean, it was just cool. It was just funny.
And
and of course, I had a pink Princess Fun in the bathroom.
Of course. Of course.
You know.
Yeah. So you nurtured Nathan, or basically, you know, and you've had a great relationship with him for a long time. And I just met Nathan through you a couple of years ago, and I'm blown away. But I always, you know, find it fascinating when, like, you know, someone has to appreciate someone's work, and then they have to mentor them, and then they have to give them space. And you're a gallerist as well as a designer and in the showroom.
And everything else.
So I think that's an interesting part about your business that I want to talk about, like the layers of it.
I love to help people be successful, and I really want them to be successful. And Nathan came to me with resin art. And I had not seen a lot of resin art when I was in Kansas. And then when we come here, I had not seen a lot of it either. And he actually was probably one of the first to do the resin art itself. And then he kept growing and growing and modifying it. And we did very well with his art. We sold quite a few pieces, a lot. And it was fun because it was different. It was something new. And he would do custom pieces. And I remember one of the first houses I did here, I had him do 3 pieces for the entryway, one being 14 feet long.
Wow. What was that? What was the subject matter?
It was abstract.
Okay.
This one was red.
Yeah.
Then I did a blue and I did a green.
Yeah, his abstract stuff.
They were awesome. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
That's when Nathan said, I don't hang my own art. I said, well, you are here.
Yeah.
That was that. But we have developed a good relationship, a great relationship through the years. And when Nathan left and went away to Nashville for personal reasons and some other things, he, came back, and he had been mentored by Jay Etkin of the Etkin Gallery. And he
in Memphis,
Jay,
right?
In Memphis,
yeah.
Yes. And he'd known Jay for quite a long time. And he built up a very good reputation and following in Memphis, too. He always had Memphis going because his father and family and his mom and family and other things. Yeah. But then when he decided to move back there and then came back here, he walked in and we said, okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome home. And, we always had a place for him.
Right. Well, I think his art is so prolific because, he can do a lot of different mediums, and it's amazing. And then talk about this year when you had an idea about Nathan starting to paint a banana series.
Okay, the banana is, it has a little reference to Warhol, and then it also has a little reference to Nathan. And it also has a little reference to Arrested Development. So anyhow, we've had he decided to do a banana, which was kind of really fun. And he brought me this resin banana, and it looked like a real banana, and it's heavy, but it's cool. And then the next thing I said to him, let's do some art with it. Or we just talk. Nathan and I just talk, and then he
listens too.
He listens, and then he does. But Nathan comes up with a lot of his own. Comes up with his own ideas. I don't really direct him in that.
Right.
I can't. You can't control somebody's art. And as I say, every time I commission a piece from Nathan or from any other artist that I work with, when I commission a piece, I say to the client, this is commissioned. We've given him the ideas.
He's going to do his thing.
He's going to do he or she are going to do their thing.
Right.
I can't control that. And and usually the results are just incredible. And I'm very happy about it. The banana started out quirky, and it still is a little quirky, but it certainly is fun. And we sell them.
Right.
Who would have
Right.
Who would have thought? But people look at it and they talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing about the store. I want you to walk in,
start a conversation,
and starts a conversation. And even if sometimes, and a lot of retailers do this too, but sometimes you buy things just for the talk factor.
Right.
Or talk. Have you
the
seen
buzz.
that chair? Have you seen that silly banana on Nathan's wall in the store? I mean, they look at it as a silly thing, and then you go, oh, no, that's really kind of cool.
Right.
I had a gentleman buy one that gave it to his CFO because he eats a banana every day at lunch.
Okay.
That's what he does. So he said,
the guy loves bananas.
And the guy loves the banana, so we bought him a banana.
Right.
As more of a silly
Did the
thing.
person really love it?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
and he actually takes his banana that he eats for lunch every day and puts it on top of Nathan's banana.
Oh my gosh.
Painting. It's a painting with the banana smashed. And
so cool.
Puts it on top of it and then takes it down and eats it. So, but Nathan's also evolved in his resin. He's evolved in his techniques. He's evolved in a lot of things. He had a lot of commercial work.
And hotels.
Hotels and other things, and even the auto places that he's done, the Infinities. I mean, again, this all goes back to fashion. You see it on the runway. You're going to see it in a car next season. If it's a black and white neoprene outfit on the runway, you're going to see a black and white car that's sleek and modern and cool inside. I mean, on the car shop. So, and the same thing with what goes on from that will hang on the rack in the couture salons. My inspirations for my store, for everything, come from fashion. I watch the fashion shows before I go to market. I really do. I delve into them. I deep. I mean, last year's was hard because there wasn't that many. Right. But I mean, I really do look at them, and I just look at colors. I look at trend. I look at patterns. I look at feeling. I look at emotion. I look at just kind of how it all is. Right.
Seeing as that patterns, it just made me think about our conversations that we've had, like how wallpaper's back in again and it's all the craze. But then you told me, no, wallpaper's never gone away because you've been selling and hanging wallpaper the whole time. Tell me about that.
In Topeka, Kansas, I had a very good client who was, I'm not going to say the youngest client in the world, but she was a great lady, fun, and she always wanted the newest, hottest things. And I'd gone to a show and I saw this line called Walteriors, and it was based in Palm Springs, and it was hand painted wallpaper. Oh, and then they would paint it and then they would cut it. So, I mean, they would cut it in a 12 by 18, or they'd cut it in a whatever size you wanted it in. And so for me to scale a wall, and I did an entire wall in her home in this silver hand painted wallpaper that they had cut down to certain sizes, and we had put it on the fireplace wall, and it was just brought it alive. And that's 25 years ago. So wallpaper's really never gone out of style.
And you have a big stock of it.
We have a big selections. We have there's gorgeous patterns out there. In fact, the couple that I just talked about earlier from Watercolor, we're doing the wallpaper for the master or for the guest bathroom, for the master bedroom. We're doing wallpaper for an office and for another room.
Can't wait to see that.
I know, it's going to be awesome. It is awesome. In fact, we've had a blast figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm loving wallpaper right now too. From when I went down to Palm Beach to stay at the Colony, which I showed you, and then you had said to me, I said a year ago that flamingos were coming back again, right?
I said flamingos were coming back, and I also said the palm leaves are coming back.
Right.
And if you could do the Beverly Hills of palm leaf, yes, that's coming back.
That's coming back. So that's right. It's so great. So let's talk about your team, because you definitely have had more work in the last couple of year and a half, and the pandemic weirdly has been, a nightmare, but at the same time for your business and several others in our town has been a blessing.
Right. I'm not grateful for the pandemic by any means.
No.
Don't ever think that. I mean, it's a horrible thing.
Horrible.
And it's still continuing, unfortunately. But aside from all of that, it's been good because people sat on their sofas and realized they didn't like it. People sat in their home, they realized they didn't like it. It was time to change things.
Right.
That's why we're very fortunate the construction industry kept going during all of that. And then look at the influx of homes, new people in our area, new people who are open to new ideas, and they're tired of the same old.
Right. And they tell you they're so glad you're here.
Well, the one thing that people do say on a constant basis when they walk into the store is, thank God you're here. And I will honestly say that.
That's very nice.
It's a compliment to us.
Totally. It's
a compliment to my products that we carry. It's a compliment to what I've always wanted to achieve, because we won't sell I don't want to say inexpensive things, because we do, but I want to say we won't sell you junk.
Right.
I won't let you have things.
Right.
I mean, we stand for a certain thing. Our image, our brand is modern, and it also stands for quality products. And so many people tie modern with the old fashioned, uncomfortable, hard as a rock sofa. Right. Well, it was back then.
Right.
I mean, it really was, some of it. And then it got knocked off. So it got knocked off in a cheap way. And so it was just a piece of foam and everything else. So boring, awful. We all hated it. But I didn't. I always loved it. I've been modern for my whole life. So I'm lucky in that respect. But it's just been a fun thing. And then they come in and they go, oh, I thought modern was going to be uncomfortable. And they sit down on an American leather sofa or another brand sofa or a chair or something. And they go, oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh my God. This is great. And, each one of my lines does have transitional to it.
Right.
Too. I won't say they go traditional, because there's other stores, there's other vendors, there's other people for that.
Yeah.
And there's some beautiful homes that are done, and I respect all of it. I respect everyone's style. I'm not negative on anyone.
Right.
I mean, it's just everybody has their niche,
their taste, and the niche, right?
But there's always been, since I opened the doors of the store 28 years ago, a modern aesthetic. People like it. Yeah. Once you find you like it,
right. Well, we've had a lot of brand partnerships together, since the beginning with the VIE office, with the brand alignment of both of our brands for VIE. But then also last year, you brought Von Dom to Digital Graffiti, which is so fun. And you started carrying that furniture a couple of years ago. And it's just amazing, fun, super cool, modern furniture. And you did a great job with bringing that whole different vibe to that party and to start, showcasing it. But you've had great success with people just walking in saying, just give me all Von Dom in the backyard
all
and
Von
inside.
Dom in the backyard, all Von Dom by the pool, all Von Dom by I love it when we put it on water, because people
you can
love to see the color changes.
Right.
Now, you can do it without color changes.
Right.
You can do it without that, but you can do it with that, or you can do it with fun colors too. I mean, it's got such a diverse line, and it's made in Spain. We're one of 25 boutiques in the country. They had to come and approve our store before I would.
Amazing. And I'm so glad that they partnered with you and partnered with us for that at Alice Beach. That was amazing. Well, with Von Dom being from Spain, then also you just started carrying about a year ago the Italian line Bontempi. And that is a really good looking line as well.
Bontempi Casa is all Italian. I've actually carried it for about 20 years. 20
years? Okay. Why do I just know this? I don't know. Sorry.
Because we boutiqueized the store.
Okay. So then
we separated vendors to
stand out.
Space.
Right.
And so Bontempi is a line that's obviously made in Italy. It's an incredible line. They do not motion furniture. They don't do any, well, they do motion furniture, but they do expandable dining tables and all sorts of things. But they do, the first table that I ever bought of Bontempi's is this simple sky table that just opens from a 4-top to a 6-top with pure ease. And it's an awesome, awesome table. But I have probably 20 tables in the store right now and chairs, dining chairs.
Yeah.
And while they're Italian, they're not overly over the top price wise. They're beautiful in style and lines. One table alone, I probably sold 20 of them. But the fortunate thing is I'm kind of weird about that because I don't want everyone to have everything the same.
It's on the glass table with the wooden.
The wooden, you can do wood, you can do metal.
Right. It's a beautiful table.
And I've known Keith, who is the U.S. Partner in the U.S., the managing partner in the States. I've known Keith for 25 years. He was with another Italian line prior. His family owned that line in the U.S. again prior. And then sadly that line is closed now, but Keith had taken on Tempe a long time ago. It's run by a woman, which is awesome. Laura Bontempi is pretty cool.
Just like American Leather.
Just like American
Leather.
I love this.
Go women.
Right. And several other lines. I just found out a new sales manager was just named, a sales manager for another line I carried.
That's great.
A woman.
That's okay.
I think it's awesome. Trust me, I'm a pro.
Right. Well, tell us about your team. Speaking, you just hired back Carrie.
Carrie Ritchie was with me for 5.5 years. She left for a little while, not working in the industry, and then she fortunately gave me a call and came back to work with us.
Awesome. She's great.
In the meantime, I'd hired on my own one, and she is incredible. She's learning, she's studying, she's doing every day. Plus, she's going through building a ranch in Texas, too. So, so she's going through all of it, which is great because then you see what we do and what they do. And she goes, the architect's not doing this the way I want it. What do you suggest? And it was the front door was off from the room. And it was kind of like, we got to change
fix
this,
it.
figure it out. And this is how I'm going to recommend. But, that's why it's great to have. An architect is wonderful. Yeah. Architects are great people, but sometimes you have to hire a designer because we know how you live.
Right. It's a synergy between both.
Sometimes you're going to get a little more closer to a designer than you are the architect per se. And so I'm going to know you want 2 bedside tables in your master bedroom. I'm going to know you want room to move in your master bedroom, or no, you just go to sleep. Right. Just things like that we learn about you. They don't necessarily always know. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a good way. Yeah. It's like your office. How does it work? How does it function? How is it going to work for you? Are you a cook? Are you not? Do you want to entertain? Do you want this? Do you want that? All the questions that we ask are not in vain.
Right.
They're for a reason.
Yes, they're purposeful.
So, and then I have a new one, another young lady named Lindsay, who's just come to work with us. And she is turning out to be incredible as well. I'm very lucky right now. Yeah. And then, of course, there's Jorge Size, who I have known he's my partner, and we've been together for 32 years, and we have worked together for 28. So we haven't killed each other yet, and that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
But
it's hard sometimes.
There are moments and there are days, but we have separated what we do.
Yeah.
He does the business side of it and the receiving and that sort of thing. I do the designing side, the outside thing, the other stuff. So we're very well together in that respect.
You need both sides of it to run a business.
You have to have a business.
You need it.
To be in business for 28 years, people are just like, what?
Yeah, that's a great testament.
That long?
To both?
And, the same corporation picked itself up and moved it to Florida. We didn't change anything.
Right.
We've never done anything like that. We won't either.
Right.
Or I hope not to.
Right. Well, Todd, we've covered a lot. We could cover a lot more.
We can.
And go on and on. I thank you so much for being here. And I thank you for your partnership and your friendship. And I think we've done some great things together so far, and we'll keep doing more.
Oh, we're going to do more.
Yeah, we're going to do more. All right. Thanks everyone for watching VIE Speaks, Conversations with Heart and Soul. Please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. And we look forward to bringing you more interesting people and stories. Love to everybody. Bye.